My name is Juliana Nicolasian with the Oklahoma State University Library. Today is Thursday, August 4th, 2016, and I'm in Vinita, Oklahoma, interviewing Clifford Hornback about his memories of the Glass House restaurant. But we're going to start learning a little bit more about Clifford. Clifford, could you tell me the year you were born and where you were born?
1933, I think it was.
Okay.
I was born in Carthage, Missouri.
Okay.
Hornback family has originally started Carthage years ago. Then we moved to Miami, Oklahoma, and from Miami to Vinita in '46, I think it was, out northwest of town. Lived there and worked for the Hudson Oil Company at the Phillips station here in town for several years. Was drafted into the service. Was in there and got out in '57. Then I worked Shangri-La Lodge for several years, maintenance engineer over there when they first started Shangri-La Lodge. I was there when they built the first condo, and I was over here the other day, and about all that I can remember what's left of that place is we put up me and Sonny Chase, who worked here in Vinita, he was my boss over there. We put up 2 fiberglass umbrellas down around the pool by the lake, and they were still there. That's the only thing I recognized that was still there. They even moved the dirt around to where you don't hardly know where you're at, you know. They moved it around. But other than that, then I did maintenance work on the water tower. Then we treated our own water, our own sewer system. Did all the electrical, plumbing, and heating and stuff all in here. And then they started building condos down through on the lakefront. And I worked over there probably for close to 15 years probably. And then I came home and started rebuilding cars, restoring cars. And I did that the rest of all my life. I've got several classic antique cars. I had one that was the first of 4 Shelby convertibles built. And I had it, didn't know what it was when I bought it, that it was, I knew it was a Shelby, but I didn't know nothing about the history of it. And so it came from Wisconsin. I can't remember what the town was or where I got it. And I restored it, and then I sold it for a big bunch of money. And now it's in a museum, the Shelby Museum in Seattle, Washington.
Well, I'm going to back you up for a second and have you tell me about your parents.
Okay, we lived out northwest of town, 11 miles northwest of Vinita here. And my dad was his dad was one of the first people that come to Carthage, Missouri, and established and started from there. And in '46, we moved down here to Vinita, northwest of town, 11 miles northwest here.
What brought your family to Oklahoma?
My mother's folks lived in Miami, and we lived there for a while before we came down here.
Mm-hmm.
And come down here, some of the neighbors said, we don't have to worry about them moving down here because said the old car they're driving said they don't have no money. We found that out later. But we moved down here, and I was there, and then I moved into town here, and I live at 404 West Hostel now, right over here with the Hostel Schoolhouse.
And what did what's your dad do for a living?
He was a farmer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was the maintenance man, first maintenance man out here at the Glass House, out here on the Turnpike. And then went to Shangri-La and maintenance over there for several years. And then I came home and started building buildings and stuff. And I have restored antique cars. What I put in now, I've got several of those. I'm fixing to, hoping to have a car museum. I've got a good start on it already. So.
Where'd you go to high school in town?
Bluejacket.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the first one on, me and my sister was the first one on and first one off the bus. We live 11 miles northwest of Vinita here. And they rode the bus all the way from there on into Bluejacket.
Hmm.
Graduated in Bluejacket.
How many people went to school in Bluejacket?
I can't remember. Seemed like there might have been 15 or 17 in our class.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Can't really remember. Got a picture of some places, all the kids was in there. A lot of them's already passed away.
I bet.
We had one that passed away while we were still in high school. Fell over dead.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate from high school? I know, I'm asking you to think way back.
50, I can't remember, 57 maybe, 55,
Okay.
maybe 53.
Did you go into the service right after high school?
They drafted me.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked at the Hudson Station here in town, where McDonald's is now, in Vinita. I worked there for a few years. Then I worked out here at Vogel Ranch, out north of town. Did ranching work out there. We baled hay and crops and everything else out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the glass house. How did you hear that the glass house was hiring?
I just got back out of the service, and I had worked for Conoco Oil Company, I think it was, and they drafted me. So then I went to work at Miami. I knew they had to put me back to work because they drafted me. I went to work up there at the station up there. I used to work at the Hudson Station here, so I was down there talking to them boys, and they said, well, what are you doing? I said, well, I just roping around till I find me a job. They said, well, we've got your uniform here. Said, if you want to, said, be here at 3 o'clock and you can go to work. And I said, you gotta be kidding. I'll have to think about this a little bit. So I went over to my brother-in-law's where he lived in Miami and talked to the wife. I said, if I don't take it, well, then they won't have to put me back to work. Because they have to put you back to work when they draft you like that.
Uh-huh.
Company has to hire you back. And so anyway, I went to work there, and I worked there maybe 1 or 2 days, and they got a hold of me, and so I came back down here and went to work out on the Turnpike, Conoco Oil Company.
Well, describe the building for me.
Turnpike building?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's I think it's the only one probably in maybe the world that's built over the highway like an arch. It's a great big arch. And I watched it go up in construction while I worked out there at the station. And then I had a chance to transfer from the station to maintenance on it. I had a boss, was Don Brown, and I never had another boss as good as he was. I mean, he never did tell me nothing to do or nothing. I said, well, you think we need to do the escalators today? Or most of our job every day was haul trash. That's part of our job. We hauled trash from there down to the dump. Got rid of all the trash from both sides of the stations out there. But anyway, it started from right there, and it just kept getting different deals.
So did you start on the service station side and then
Yeah.
go into maintenance?
Started on the north side. Now, see, they have pumps on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to operate off the truck island
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't have the stations up, the pumps up there by the building done yet. So we had to work all the way down there to the truck island when we first started. And then I was out there one winter and they had an ice storm out there. And a Greyhound bus come through there. You'd had to set stakes to see if that sucker was even moving. And it started, the ground was kind of tapered a little bit when it comes around there.
Mm-hmm.
And he started moving, and when he did, he missed the main gate, missed the walk gate, and he took 6-foot chain link fence down, post and all, and went right on out there in the pasture. Yeah. And one of them posts went right straight up through the luggage compartment when it went through one old gal's suitcase, right through the middle of the suitcase, but that pipe went right through her suitcase. I never will forget that.
What do you do in that type of situation after you watch that?
Well, we went out there and got that post out there, and then they could drive it. See, they had to get the waste truck pulled out.
Mm.
Oh, you couldn't hardly stand up. It was so slick.
Mm.
And it's just a little bit of a taper there, and when they came in, their tires was warm, see, from being out there on the pavement. And on that ice, warm tires, it's just like being on a piece of butter. I
Mhm.
mean, whatever that thing wanted to do, I seen him come in and do it. And that poor driver couldn't help himself. I mean,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, when you first started out over at the Turnpike, describe your uniform for me.
Well, I had a just ordinary filling station uniform I wore.
What was that?
It was a, I can't remember, kind of like coveralls, I think.
Mhm.
I can't remember, and then it went to pants and shirt, I think, but I'm not sure. And there was kind of a white with a little stripe in it or something, as I remember.
And you're doing full service, right?
Yes.
So, explain to me the full service process. It's a lot different today, huh?
Yes, full services is whenever they pulled in, well, you put whatever amount of gas they wanted in their car, you checked their tires, you checked the radiator, you checked the oil, you washed their windshield. That was the number one. You always washed every windshield come in, whether they bought anything or not. That was courtesy, you know. Washed their windshield and talked to them and what have you. And see, there was a Tucker coming out there. I was the only one I'd seen for years. They didn't make but just 4 or 6 of them is all they ever built. But they used to, the motor companies used to come through and stop here, and they'd get out. They had a station wagon following them with all kinds of tools and stuff in it, and they have to test all that stuff on them cars, like the generator, all that stuff's got to be tested so many miles.
Mhm.
And they used all this turnpike and everything for a test track, more or less, on all of the big companies. And them guys would come in there and they'd have their brand new clean coveralls on, brand new stuff, you know, brand new jacks, brand new tools and everything, and pull it out of that station wagon. They had a station wagon full of all that stuff for them. And they had to test them cars, road test them cars so many miles. And then later on after that, well, then they built them a track, like a round track, like a horse track.
Yeah.
And then they put them in there, and then they finally got robots to run that, and then it finally went to where it was automatic. They had to put X amount of miles on them cars before they could ever sell them. For the first one, you know, for testing.
Yeah. Interesting. So you're doing full service. Do people tip you?
Yes, they tip you, and you weren't supposed to, but they tip you, and you didn't want to make the customer mad, you know. And so you take it and thank him, and they go on about their business.
What would tips range?
Oh, maybe $1, which was quite a bit of money then. Gas was 20, 30 some cents a gallon, I think, it's pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
They might tip you that.
When you were first hired, do you remember what you were making?
I worked out of Bowles out here, out north of town, for $3 a day, room and board. Out there on the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we started doing the haying, well, then they paid me by the ton.
Mm-hmm.
How much tonnage we used.
Interesting.
I know up there, he had a place back down up there, 11 miles northwest of here, down there on the creek, and the water would get up over it and get dirt and mud on all the Lespedeza, and it'd get all over it. Well, there wasn't nobody riding a sled on account of all that dirt and stuff, get off that Lespedeza, and it was itchy. I mean, it would just tear you up and set you on fire. And so there wasn't nobody riding a sled. He was work on it, and he got a hold of me and said, "I'll pay you extra money if you'll do it." I said, "I'll try it." Well, I rode the sled and everything all that season. Nobody else would do it. See, I'd raised up on the farm. The rest of the city slickers here in town go out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. They didn't want to do no work.
Well, on the service station side, was Don Brown also your boss?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He was my boss, but I did everything. Actually, he was my helper.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best guy you ever want to work for, because he never did tell me what to do or anything, and would work on escalators and stuff. While I'd have him go get my tools and stuff like that. You know, he reminds you of a helper.
Mm-hmm.
I did all the work, but that's not a real problem, because That's the best job I ever had in my life out there.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Several days, a lot of times we didn't hardly do hardly nothing. Main thing was there was, I think, 2 or 3 times a week we hauled trash to the dump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't like today. We had 55-gallon drum barrels, filled them up, loaded them in the back of the truck, all about there, out South Town, dump.
Well, you mentioned when everything opened in 1957, it wasn't totally completed yet.
Right, it was, we first started out on the pump island, truck island,
Mm-hmm.
down next to the chain link fence. That's the furthest away from each side.
Okay.
Both of them the same way.
And so how long before everything was fully operational?
Probably close to 3 to 6 months.
Wow, okay. And on a typical shift, how many service attendants were working?
We may have 2 to 3
Okay.
per shift.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they got up there and got going good, there was cars in there all the time. I mean, you hardly ever got loose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would wait in line.
Hmm.
But a lot of them didn't mind because they'd been driving and they wanted to rest, get out and walk around and rest a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
And we had, during the winter there, one winter, it was icy on it. And this one old boy come in there on a motorcycle. And we could tell he getting awful close to the office there. Well, sure enough, he jumped the curb on the curb there, and he wasn't about, well, from the curb to the glass, probably about as far as that door.
Mm-hmm.
And he jumped that curb and got over and he laid that thing down just before he run into the glass window there. And we went out there and got him, and he was so cold that he couldn't hardly move. He froze. And we got him back there and got him all warmed up, thawed out and everything, and he was shaking. I mean, it was hard to put something. He about froze to death. It's the worst one I ever seen come in that way. It's that cold.
You probably had to be ready for a little bit of everything.
Yep. I was out there one time working in the louver room there, and this guy pulled in there. He was a colored guy. He pulled in there, and something happened. Well, you know, I was going to have to take him to the other side. And I told him what to do, and so he said, he wanted me to drive over there. I said, well, I'll drive over there. And I don't know why I did this. But anyway, I got in the car and up jumped this colored woman. White woman, he was colored. Up jumped this white woman. I don't know why I done it. I just got out of the car and I said, right down there's a turnover, and you go down there, and I said, the state's on the other side. If you get caught down there, it's probably at least a $40 fine. It ticked me off, I guess, because she's, you know, he was white woman with him.
Yeah.
Back in '57.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was kind of odd then
Mm-hmm.
to see that. But I don't know why I told that sucker that, but I did. I just got out of the car. I said, if you get caught, it's about $40 to $70 fine.
Huh. It was a different time period.
Oh yeah, well that was a no-no for him to go back in them days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Seen a lot of things happen out there.
Well, you mentioned, you know, you had a lube room, right? So kind of on the outside of the building, what was going on? You know, so you had the truck island.
Yeah, truck island, and then the car island was in between it and the big building.
Okay.
Office, where the station office was.
Mm-hmm.
We had probably eight or 10 pumps. I think we had 4 islands down through there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a little bitty building out there we called a doghouse out there where we make change, you know. So we'd have to go inside.
Mm-hmm.
And in the wintertime, we operate inside the building instead of having to use the doghouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at some point you make the change and you go into maintenance.
Yeah.
All right. What spurred that? Were you looking just to change things up?
No, they just they needed somebody to help him on maintenance, and I knew how to work on cars and this and that, you know, and I'd been up on the building and looking around and all this and that, you know, and they just put me back there.
So
The best thing that ever happened to me.
What are some things that over time you've had to work on? You mentioned the escalators.
Escalators, elevators, go up on the roof and work on exhaust fans. They had the louvers on that west side there. They was just like big old blinds, like Venetian blinds laying up and down horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
And they was way up there, all the way up, all the way around there. And there wasn't nobody go out there and work on it. Because afraid it'd fall off. Well, it didn't bother me. I would go out there and work on it sucker. You know. And so we worked on, kept all them going. And what it was, at different times of year, you had to reset your timer because the timer was fixed so it run so much, shut off. Keep the sun from coming in as the sun went over the building on the west side, shining into the east.
Mm-hmm.
To keep it so the customers wouldn't be in the sun. That's what it was for. So now I notice that they've changed and put the louvers, they're not out there no more. They've got a special kind of glass there now where the sun will bother you, I guess. And they changed, made bigger windows than what they got, than what they had, you know. But I worked on that building for, I was out there, I don't know, 12, 14, 15 years probably, something like that. Then I went to work over Shangri-La Lodge, over there.
Well, you mentioned a big part of your job was hauling trash.
Well, that was every day.
What kind of vehicle would you use to haul the trash?
We had an old, first started out with a Falcon pickup, and we put barrels in it.
Mm-hmm.
Put barrels in it, 55-gallon barrels, and we just take barrels and all out there. But then they overdrew that, and then we got us a flatbed truck. I think I made the bed for it, which I remember, and we used it for a long time. And then finally, later on, I think probably after I left, that the city come out and started picking it up. And the airport out there, you know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
I did most all the work on the airport when it first started. That great big round top building, I built that building. Pretty well by myself. Dragged the torch back and forth every night and every morning when I was working. I could work on it. Worked on it. Dr. Sutton, the doctor here in town, he owned that hangar. And that's the biggest hangar that they had out there. And I built that sucker pretty well by myself. And Jack Walker, he helped me a little bit. And seemed like somebody else helped me a little bit, but not much. And then I built 2 big airplane hangars. And like I finished up another one for another guy. One of them hangars was mine. I had a hangar out there. But I didn't have no plane, but I had a hangar. And Dr. DeHart, he leased it from me. He had a plane. And so I had the #1 spot. See, I started out there with that airport. And I went down there to City Hall and I said, I want the first space, #1 space. And they said, okay. I got the first one, you know, what could they say? Anyway, since then, it's supposed to be the first one. We've never built another on the north side of it. Well, later on, several years later, they built another, and maybe, I think there's probably 2 of them north of there now. When the expanded got bigger, you know. But I built that great big building. I built a hangar for Butler. I built a hangar for me. And then I finished up one that some partner had to move on, and I finished it up for him out there.
You've done quite a bit.
Yeah, and I worked full time for the Turnpike. I mean, for Conoco Oil Company, being out there on the Turnpike. Then I went over to Shangri-La and worked on maintenance over there for several years.
Well, you mentioned that, you're working on elevators and escalators.
Uh-huh.
Did you teach yourself? How'd you learn how to fix it?
Just whatever happened, you fixed the problem, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Learn it. Well, it had a guy, when they first put them in, it was part of Continental Oil's responsibility to furnish a helper for him. They put me helping him. Well, I knew a little bit about him, but I didn't know much, because that old man, he was good. I mean, he was good.
Well, we talked a lot about, the outside by the pump area.
Yeah.
Now kind of describe the inside of the glass house for me.
The glass house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The glass house was an arch. Then it had a floor across it above the two two lanes of highway. Okay, and then glass windows on each side of that. And then on the, probably almost from the center of the highway in the building north was kind of like rooms in there, meeting rooms and storage rooms. But the south side over there was a kitchen area down in there. See, the arch come down, then they had the roof went on out of ways. Underneath that was the kitchen, and and with being Don Brown, Connie owned the building. And I worked for Connie Oil Company, and we done all the maintenance on that building out there while I was there for Connie Oil Company. That was part of our job. That's basically why I worked was for the glass house there. But I wasn't part of the glass house.
Okay. Would you have interactions with the other folks who worked on the restaurant end?
Oh yeah, I can talk to them all the time. Yeah, I've done more talking than did work, but that's the easiest job I ever had. You get something fixed, or until something else happens, you know, you're just there. When we first went to work out there, they had 2 boilers in out there, and they had what they called a Hartford loop at the back, a great big old 4-inch pipe, went from one over to another, went back, return, and underneath water. And in the wintertime, them damn things would get to working real hard, and one would get hot, hotter than the other, and then push the damn water right out of one over in the other, and one would go off on low water, and the other would go off on high water. So then we'd sit out there and watch them suckers for 24 hours a day in the real bad weather for several dang weeks. And then they finally come down there, and the engineer come up there, and they finally decided, it took them a long time to figure out what to do. And then finally they come up there and put 2 new valves on that sucker, back there, at the back. Where if it got high, it'd go up, got low, it'd go up. And it stopped that. So that took care of that problem.
Were there other challenges
Oh,
in the building?
Yeah, well, it's a new building. You didn't know what was going to happen, you know. One thing after another. And went over there to Detroit one time. I went over there and called me over there. The sink was all stopped up. So I got to checking it out, punched it out, and it still didn't work right. So I took the trap off of it, and got to looking, and them damn guys that worked, they had to do this. They put knives, kitchen knife down that drain, and they had that sucker plug it off. So I had to go down there and take all that trap apart and tear all that out. Them on the suckers. Yeah.
Any, you mentioned some of the unique cars that would pull on through the station and come through.
Well,
there.
they use it for test track for the new cars. They didn't have test tracks back in them days at the plant like Dearborn, Michigan, and Chevrolet and Packard and Buick and all them. Now they've got their own, they have to test track at all that stuff for so many miles before they can ever allow to sell them cars. So I understand.
You mentioned you saw a Tucker.
Yeah.
Any other unique cars that you saw pull on through?
Oh, we've seen a lot of different cars, but I can't remember all of them. I do remember that Tucker because you see, they didn't make them. 6 of them, about all they ever built, I think.
Well, you mentioned the impact of weather.
Yeah.
And over time, I'm sure that was a big factor.
Oh yeah, because you can't predict what it's going to do. The weather in Oklahoma, it changed in 30 minutes. Yeah.
And so, how do you prepare in advance? Do y'all keep salt or other supplies, or?
Well, because of winter time, you kind of get a few sacks of salt and stuff, you know, and you need more. It wasn't no problem to get it if we needed it, you know. So, yeah, we managed to get by.
The building, of course, is a unique design, a little different. You don't see that every day. Did that pose a challenge with some of your maintenance work?
No, it's just part of it. We just growed up with it. Went to work, growed in, and we into it.
Okay.
See, all the water, sewer, and gas and stuff like that, there's a tunnel underneath that highway. And that's where that stuff goes, and then you gotta pump sewer up and on out. But sewer's over uphill. So, you know, But anyway, yeah, that was the best job. Well, yeah, that was the best job I ever had in my life. Was that work out there.
Well, talk to me about some of your fellow workers, some of the other employees that really stand out in your mind.
Well, Don Brown, he was in charge of maintenance. I worked out there at the station, and he was in maintenance, and he was more than he could handle. So they got a hold of me, and I transferred from there back there, and that's how I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got everything. It took a long time to get the bugs out of that thing. When they come in there, and them guys, that construction outfit now, they can really mess you up big time. I mean, you know, you'd think everything would be checked out, be perfect, but it is not. You know, they wanted to get done, they pushed them real hard to get it. Running late on time anyway, I think, and pushed them hard to get out, get done, get out there. And so then we had to straighten up the boo-boos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was challenging.
Any other workers or supervisors you remember?
On maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
there was just two of us, me and Don Brown.
Okay. What about in other parts of the building?
That's what we did, the stations and the building.
Okay.
And then part of the time, if the guy at Miami up here, Turnpike up there, they had one maintenance man up there, but he never was mechanically inclined to be a maintenance man.
Uh-huh.
And so we'd have to go up there and help him every once in a while. He just, I don't know why they put him back there in the first place. He didn't know nothing about it, you know. But I didn't know too much. I growed up with it, but you know, I learned to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you ever eat in the restaurants or?
No, sometimes we'd eat with, back there with the employees or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of the time we carry our own dinner, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Annabelle Southern, she was out there for years, and she was as good as gold.
Tell me more about Annabelle.
She was really, really qualified. It seemed like she'd been some kind of a wheel or something, someplace before she came there. And she was real nice to work with and everything. And once she'd tell us what was wrong, she didn't have to worry about it. She knew we'd take care of it for her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, then they transferred her to Miami and Claremore. She was over all three of them places for a while, you know, super for the glass house. That's Interstate Host is what it was, glass house. And Continental Oil Company owns the buildings, but they own the one in Miami and they own the one in Claremore too.
Would you hire any of the workers outside? Would you do any of the hiring?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, but I could sure put in a word for him.
Mm-hmm.
The boss man listened to me because he knew I knew what I was talking about. Yeah. Had an old boy, he was as good as gold to work for, but he went overseas and he got partying over there. And I don't know, I heard later that somebody might have got drunk up there and up above the balcony up there, and they had a rail up there and you could walk over and look over. And someone said it, they thought that two of them guys walked up, got a hold of him, guess he mouthed him or something, got a hold of him and threw him over the side, that's what I heard. Fell down, broke his neck, killed him.
Hmm.
So I don't know, it's hearsay, you know. He just shouldn't have done what he done. He liked to drink though.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. A lot of them big wheels like that, they can drink, but they can handle it. And how some guys can drink all day long and never get drunk. They can handle it, and others can't. It's a different deal out there. I went to work over at Shangri-La over there. One of the old boys I knew here in town, he was in charge of maintenance over there, and he found out I was out of work, And I got terminated, and he come by the house. Boy, he had about a 30-minute talk. He said, I want you to go work with me. And I said, well, okay. So I went to work. That's how I got on. He come over here and hunted me up.
Did you get terminated from
Yeah.
the glass house? What happened?
I can't remember exactly what happened. Anyway, there's I know what it was. Duke Logan here in town was a lawyer. And he lived right south here this ways. In a 2-story house. And he wanted us to put an air conditioner out of his house. He lives across the street, over in this lawyer's office, Duke Logan's lawyer's office. He wanted us to take the air conditioner out of his window and take over and put in that window to that big old 2-story house. And he asked us to do it the evening before they wanted it for the next day. And I said, Jim, I said, there ain't no way. I said, that house ain't even wired for no 220. I said, we'd have to rewire the panel box or something. And I said, I don't think it's possible to even do it. You know. And so I talked about it, and I got up and walked out. And so then I found out later, he called me in and fired me. And then I found out later that's why he fired me.
Huh.
Because he'd already promised them people that he's going to have electricity over there, air conditioning. The damn thing didn't have wasn't wired for 220 or for 220 air conditioner in the winter either.
Well, that's not a good way to get fired.
Well, I know, but he was just that way. He just called me and said, we're done. And I said, okay.
Wow.
I walked out the door and come to the house.
Huh.
It wasn't no time, Sonny Chase come over, and he worked at Shangri-La, and he come over and he said, well, you just go work. So we talked about it, and we went over there, I worked over there, and then he wasn't there but 2 or 3 years. And I went through, I would take care of it, and then they'd hire somebody, a head man come in, and he'd take over. Hell, they'd hire people that didn't know what they were doing, you know, or anything. So I went through maybe 5 or 6 of them kind of guys. And then finally they just put me up there, and they never hire nobody else, just left me in there. So I was there when he built the first 25 condominiums.
Wow. And
come to find out, the first one there, right there with the gate on the north side. Have you ever been over there to the glass house?
I have not.
Okay. Anyway, right there, they built the glass house, Conoco.
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La. Anyway, great big 2-story building, had 100 and some rooms. We took care of them too. And anyway, it's just one thing after another over there.
Well, do you keep up with people you used to work with over at the glass house?
Well, a lot of them's already dead and gone. Yeah.
And you're the oldest living maintenance man
for Continental Oil Company at the glass house.
Whew.
I work for Continental Oil Company. You know what? I didn't work Continental Oil Company. You know the big oil company. I work with payroll company with them. I work for them.
So, a lot of them are dead.
Oh yeah.
And you're still around. You ever talk with other old timers who used to take their cars through there, or?
Well, the people was traveling from state to state then, you know.
Do the locals in Vinita did they spend a lot of time at the glass house?
No. If they did, they had to drive in on the south side or outside the fence and walk through the gate and walk across and up. You could do that on either side.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that airport out there, I built, when it first started, Continental Oil Company, we put the fuel tanks in, got that all done. And then Dr. Sutton built had that great big round top building, you know where it's at? I built that damn thing pretty near by myself. When I was out there, I wasn't very old then. Had a pretty good project. And then after that, I had a hangar of my own out there, and then I built I built at least 3 hangars out there. And that's why I still work.
Do you fly?
No. I had the best damn instructor that ever lived. He threw the Wright brothers around. So his license was, I seen his license and it was on a piece of copper and his stamp and had his name in it. He flew the chairman of the board of Hudson Oil Company around for years. And I wouldn't be afraid to fly if that man blindfolded. I flew with him quite a bit. And I wouldn't be afraid to fly. He could like, old Malshy over there on the lake, he had a plane over there with pontoons on it.
Mm-hmm.
He went over and checked him out so he could fly that on the lake patrol. He's a good guy. I've worked and seen a lot of good people.
Well, when was the last time you've been inside the glass house?
Since they remodeled it, I think I've been out there maybe twice.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the remodel?
Well, they've changed it a lot, but they didn't change the arch. They didn't change the floor, but they changed the windows. Now they got wider windows than they had, and on the west side they had louvers there. We had to take care of all the louvers. Had them on timers, you know. As the sun moved, we had to reset the timers and stuff. I had to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that they got different kind of glass out there, and they took the louvers down, so they're not there no more. But we did a lot of work on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, they first come, them louvers, they had some kind of a film on them, and it started looking bad, coming off. And we tried paint remover, several different things, and wouldn't nothing take it off. Well, that stuff was on there, it was good. And it had been dipped in arced. I think they dip it in a big old vat, arc it somewhere or another,
Mm-hmm.
put that film on it. Well, it started peeling off, so it looked like ugly. So got my brother-in-law and him down there, and they come down there and they couldn't do nothing with it. They sent up about 3 different types or 4 different types of paint remover. So finally they sent some raunchy stuff up here, and they took it off. So then they just left it down to bare aluminum. And then when they remodeled and changed out the windows, they took all them out. They're gone now.
Mm-hmm.
But we had to set them at different times of year on account of where the sun, travels. And we have to reset the timers, so we adjust it so it wouldn't be light shining in. We have to reset their timers.
They ever get stuck?
Yeah, we've had them get stuck before. Yeah. Have to go out there and find out what the problem was.
Mm-hmm.
A boat might break or something, out there on them arms and levers, move them.
Yeah.
It's just like Venetian blinds more or less. But they was all the way across, different heights all the way across that arch. Which was kind of amazing,
Any other changes you noticed from then and now?
Well, we had escalators we had to work on. Escalators, stairs, and elevators. And we've had a lot of experience with elevators. Some damn kids come home, get a fire extinguisher, and turn it loose, and shut the doors. And you'd go to work the next day and you had the damnedest mess you ever seen in your life, all that foam in there, and then you'd go down to the bottom and you'd have to clean it all out. Stuff like that. But that's just part of it. And escalators, I had to work on them, and it's the damnedest thing you've ever seen. Here come grandma, here come daughter, here come the kids. Well, they put grandma on first. Well, grandma would get on there, and she'd never been on one of them before in her lifetime, She'd hang on, and pretty soon she'd turn around and look, and pretty soon she'd lose her balance, fall over, and knock them all down. Well, when they get up at the top of that escalator, gets up at the top, they got fingers they slide in, with the grooves where the steps is, slide in kind of like a little finger. Well, I think it's 4 or 6 thousandths. If it lifts up that much, it'll automatically shut it down.
Hmm.
But if it don't lift it up, it just keeps going. Well, so them old women fall down and get their skirt caught down in there, and sometimes they might not get off there, and that escalator just keep going until it shut off, and it just eat their old butt up like you wouldn't believe, put big old grooves in their butt down there in the bottom where they'd been, them steps are coming through there, they didn't stop. It's weird. But old grandma, she'd turn around and look at the rest of them, and she'd get all over bouncing down and come.
My goodness.
And then sometimes the kids would put their shoes up against the step, And whenever that step went down to go underneath it, it always had to go in at level. Well, it sucked their damn shoe down in there, and then it get caught between them little fingers sticking out in their shoes there. Sometimes it'd mess up their toes a little bit before it shut itself off.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, we got other problems.
Sounds like those escalators were troublesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, Grandma would get on there, you know, and she'd fall over in her big old long skirt and stuff that she wore then, get caught underneath her fingers to shut it off automatically. Then we'd have to put all that. Yeah, I've worked that escalator, I've had him on it. You ain't never seen such greasy stuff in all of your life on them handrails. It's kind of like graphite. You ever get it full of graphite?
Yeah.
That stuff gets on you and you can't get it off because the time you're working here, the first thing you know it's on your arm, way up there. How did it get up there? You know, you got it all over you. But anyway, it was a mess.
Anything stand out, you know, as you're looking back on your time there that you just can't believe happened?
Yeah. I was sitting up there one morning, we was sitting up there having a break before we go to work. We always had more breaks than we work. But anyway, we sat up on the west side and looked down through it and there's something coming down through the damn highway. And I said, what in the world is going on here? I said, look at that. And we got to look at it, we couldn't figure out what was going on. And I said, well, that looks like a damn airplane part of it. Well, got to look at it, and closer we got, sure enough it was a cockpit of an airplane. He took the windshield off of it and put that center part of the airplane in there. Didn't have no steering wheel, no nothing. I walked down and looked. And so I said, how many hell is he driving this thing? So I stayed down there till I didn't know where he was. He walked off downstairs and I didn't know who to look for. So I just waited and he come down there and I got to talk to him. I said, how do you steer this sucker? He had little toggle buttons. There's only one I've seen like that. Yeah. Seen a lot of things out there.
I bet you have.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed about every minute of it.
I bet you did. Well, what's one thing that you want to be sure to tell us about your experiences working for Conoco at the glass house?
Well, it was the best job I ever had in my lifetime. Didn't have to do hardly nothing, but we took care of, we hauled the trash every day or every other day or whatever we needed to go pick up. Then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we had to get a bigger truck, and then we had to get another bigger truck. And then finally the trash truck got picked it up. But we'd haul it all the way down to dump 2 or 3 times a week. Dump it. Then we took care of all the kitchen stuff up there. See, the kitchen stuff belonged to Glass House Interstate, but we pretty well done a lot of maintenance work on it for them, kept it all going for them, you know.
Well, you've been in this area quite.
Had escalators, had refrigerators and deep freezers, and all kinds of electrical stuff, plumbing stuff.
You've seen it all.
Yeah.
Fixed it all. Anything you couldn't fix?
No, not to know of. I can't remember Jim Cobb. He got ticked off over something. He called me in and fired me right there. What the hell? I was at the house trying to accumulate and build something at the house, you know. Build a building, shop, and I restore cars, antique cars. Anyway, I was back there working, and Sonny Chase drove up, wanted to talk to me. Well, hell, the first thing I know, he had me working. So I went out there and worked a long time out there in Shangri-La.
Well, you've been in Vinita a long time.
Since 40. We moved down here in Vinita in 46.
A long
We lived in Miami before that. I was born in Carthage. My ancestors started Carthage years ago, Hornbacks. They started Carthage.
How has Vinita changed over time?
Not much. it's still pretty well the same old.
Mhm.
Still got the hotel and stuff like that. It's added on a little bit. 4-lane highway comes through here now.
Mhm.
That's helped it. And the railroad track is a damn nuisance. So many trains come through here. It wasn't too bad years ago, but now they got 100 cars or more. Takes a long time to get through here, but they move a lot faster than they did then, too. I remember they used to have a walkway. There were Carters right along in there behind there for a city block through there, brick. And they had some part of it, a little bit of concrete. They had a great big old build, kind of like, well, big high top floors on them, even with the doors open up on the train, That's how they put your freight and stuff out there. And then it moved it off different places. Transferred up here, there, and yonder. And they said old Jack Dempsey come through here. He was supposed to be one of the famous boxers or something. And right north of First National Bank, they had a great big building in there. That's where their lobby was, right in there. And somehow or another, this old boy come by, and I think he was a colored guy. And he'd spit on his floor. This old man cleaned it up. He spit on his floor, and that old man he did beat the hell out of that old boy. He was a famous wrestler. He worked him over. Yeah, that's what they said. I didn't hear it. That's hearsay. He said that old boy, he put it on that old boy. He made him like it.
Well, are you still restoring cars?
Do what?
Are you still restoring cars?
I'm working on buildings right now, but I've got probably 10 or 12 cars to restore.
You're working on buildings?
Yeah. And just now, I'm adding on to my, it's probably close to 50 by 50, and I'm adding a 30 by 30 on the west side. I'm in the process of getting the ground level down now. It had trees and stumps and everything in there, and get that all out there. And I'm in the process of getting that where I put some concrete. Already got the roof on that part of it.
You're just staying busy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got all kinds of things to do. I've got several cars to restore. I had one restored. I bought that thing that was on a Shelby Convention, I think it was. We went back east to Shelby Convention and up, anyway, we stopped this old boy's house, went over to his, he had cars stored in the warehouse. So we went over to the warehouse and they had this convertible sitting in there. And there wasn't nothing left of it hardly, it was just putting it in nothing. But it was a Shelby. And it was a convertible. Got to look at it. Come home, checked. Whoa, that damn thing, they didn't make but 4 or 6 of them, all they ever built. They thought 6. Well, I messed around, finally found out who owned it, and I got a hold of him. Finally made a deal to buy it, sent him the money for it, and we left it up there in the storage building for almost 2 years before we could find a ride home for it. Finally got it home, and I restored it. And now that car's worth probably close to $1 million probably.
Wow.
66 Chevy convertible, first one I ever built. And then I sold it, and it went to Seattle, Washington. And it was collected by a young guy. He paid me good money for that stuff, but I could have got a lot more out of it. I had found a good home, and that's what I wanted, He had bought up there, they had 3 big pieces of property. A glass company owned all that property, and then they abandoned it, and he bought all 3 of them places through there. And he's not been 40-some years old. He'd come down here 3 or 4 different times. Every year he'd come to show the convention down here. He'd come up here and talk to me about that car. And I imagine he was trying to raise his money so he could buy it, but I never would sell it until one time he came up here and priced it. Just take it.
You married? You have kids?
Yeah, got 2 girls.
Your wife still around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She worked for J.C. Penney's for years.
Mm-hmm.
Then she worked for factory out here had did something right out here about where I live. And there's Siege. And she worked out there for a long time. She's retired now, I know.
Yeah, it's nice to be retired, but you have a lot more projects to do too.
Well, I made more money out of my own projects than I did while I was working.
Yeah.
That's the past time. That was a sure deal of paying the bills.
Yeah.
I had to have some money to pay the bills. I used to restore Volkswagens years ago. I'd take a Volkswagen, cut that sucker in two, and put a welder all back together, and make brand new cars out of it.
Well, Clifford, I've appreciated you sitting down and sharing some of your memories. Is
Well,
there anything else you want to
I
add?
could talk half a day, but do you? I know you got things to do. I was surprised you'd be able to stay here this long.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and sharing some of your memories of working for
Yeah.
the Glass House and over at the Turnpike. We really appreciate it.